Pretty eventful day. I don't know if you've heard in the NFL last week, a certain 32-year-old wide receiver that when you ask most corners in the league who the best wide receiver is, they lead with this guy and then everybody else. We'll have that as well as our winners and losers. As always, joined here by my castmates, Hayden and Aaron. And with that, I'm going to kick it to Hayden over at the news desk to get us started.
Now we're official.
God damn it! I'm so glad we got a soundboard.
We are official now. Yeah. All right.
You say whammy. What's your catchphrase? You gotta have a catchphrase. You're gonna be the news guy.
Oh boy. I'll work on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start with Julio Jones. The Falcons, traded him to the Tennessee Titans along with a 2023 sixth round pick in exchange for a 2022 second round pick and a 2023 fourth round selections. Give me your guys' thoughts. Aaron, go first.
I definitely seems like a win-win trade for both teams. Titans get a piece that they really, really needed. This kind of throws a wrench. I loved the under on the Titans. I loved the Colts to win that division because the Titans just had no room for error. They lost a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. So Julio Jones gives them a massive boost. Now that's going to be a real race between them and the Colts. Falcons get a huge haul for a guy that they really couldn't even afford, and maybe they even just necessarily didn't need at this point. I think we're still trying to figure out if the Falcons are rebuilding or not, but either way, this helps them out in the salary cap now, and now they have a lot of draft capital moving forward. So win-win.
Yeah, I think you're right on the Falcons front, specifically on the do they know if they're rebuilding? With the trades that they could have made here that we saw in the draft, quarterbacks that are available, I mean, clearly they think that Matty Ice has something left in the tank. They drafted Kyle Pitts to try to replace playmaker for playmaker. I mean, there's no replacing Julio Jones, obviously, but you get a quote-unquote generational talent at tight end and a walking mismatch. You think you can scheme yourself into things. The new head coach for the Falcons coming over from the Titans, Arthur Smith, he did lead the most efficient red zone offense in the league last year. There's some debate on whether or not you'll see some regression there, but I think with another healthy red zone target like Kyle Pitts, you should see some of that translate over. Is Mike Vrabel just trying to get the biggest players like in their skill set, like not their skill set, like just the biggest freaking dudes he can at their position? He's like, hey, I want Derrick Henry, who makes Mark Ingram look like a small child. And also I just want AJ Brown and Julio Jones, just, the biggest wide receivers in like size percentile in the league. He just wants mass. He's just like, I want.
We're going to see that trio on like the cover of Sports Illustrated at some point this summer. Just three massive humans that are all also just freakishly fast and skilled. Really low.
Yeah. I mean, are they just like going to call like their skill position group like the Thick Boys? Like what's the name? What's the nickname we're giving the skill position players for the Tennessee Titans?
Man, I don't know. We'll have to chew on that one. God, just imagine like the back seven, like the smaller linebackers and the defensive backs having to tackle those three guys all day. That sounds like a handful.
Yeah, I mean, when your wideouts are effectively the size of like an average tight end in the league, I mean, nobody really wants to be a part of that, right? And then you have Derrick Henry, who's all of
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
Nope, pass.
Yeah, 86 it. I'm out. Hayden, thoughts on the Titans?
I'm right there with you. I think it was a win-win for both teams. The Falcons got him out of the NFC, which is ultimately the plan there if they were to trade him. And obviously Hall of Fame player, gonna improve that offense, and I think they're gonna be spicy. I know, Aaron, you're a Colts fan. Are you shaking now that the Titans added Julio Jones?
Shaking isn't the right word, but like I said, I felt really good about the Titans underperforming expectations going into this year, just based on the fact that, they lost Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith, and, we don't see running backs have very many consecutive seasons like what we've seen Derrick Henry do over the last few years. Like running backs fall off the table really quick. So I was thinking, we're an injury there away from the Titans essentially being dead in the water. But now you throw Julio Jones into the mix. Shaking, I won't go that far, but it's a definite two-horse race now in the AFC South.
The Titans rebuilt that defense, man, that they won in spite of last year, and having an offense that looks like it has the potential to be as efficient as this one does. Yeah, it definitely changes there. Did I go over? I can't remember if I went over or under.
I don't remember.
That's okay. You know what? I went over until you prove me otherwise. Until someone goes back.
I went over.
Yeah, until someone goes back and re-listens to episode 1 and proves me wrong, I went over and I'm right. And I actually, yes, I think that this greatly improves what they're looking to do. When you had one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league last year in Ryan Tannehill, you have that running game. To get Taylor Lewan back, I think the Titans are in a much better position. It all depends on if Julio stays healthy too. He's not played more than 10 games, I think, the last 3 years in any given season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is there any chance that this doesn't work out for Tennessee? I think it's worth the risk, definitely. For what they paid,
easily.
It's easily worth the risk. Yeah.
Yeah, I think even at best, if you get like 3 years of like combined like 80% Julio Jones, that is better than what you could hope for out of any second round skill player.
Top 10 wide receiver.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.